Welcome to the Teacher's Guide to Best Math Tiered Instruction. This video will focus on Benchmark 1 within Standard 3rd Grade NSO 1, which is to read and write numbers from 0 to 10,000 using standard form, expanded form, and word form. To start, give students a place value chart as well as digit cards so that they reinforce that each digit belongs to a certain place value. Then have students build it using either base 10 blocks or place value discs. For in this instance, we have 5 ones, 7 tens, 8 hundreds, and 3 thousands. This would help students with the expanded form discussing about the value each digit has in their given place value. 7 tens is worth 70, 8 hundreds is worth 800, and 3 in the thousands place is worth 3,000. Using the expanded form helps students with also building their word form of numbers. We read numbers usually based on their place values, and I've also provided sentence cards to help students with the words. Taking the pressure off of the writing and introducing them to the vocab of how we read numbers will help students, especially when we get to the tens place. In the tens place, students might confuse when numbers should end with T or teen. Having that discussion based on how they would read it in the expanded form would also help them determine which word card to use. In this next example, now we've put a 1 in the tens place. So we still have students build it using base 10 blocks or place value discs to explain that each digit in the place values has a value. When the students go to write the expanded form, then they total what they've built in the place value chart. Using the expanded form, we ask students again, how would I say this number? So going back to this expanded form, students should be able to use the digit as well as the place value, vocab word. Also making sure that students understand that that comma helps when we say the word thousand. Students will see that since we only have 110, which equals 10, when I put the numbers together with the tens and the ones, I would use and say 16 in this instance and not 10t. In this situation, I've now given students a 0 in the tens place. Students need to understand that when a number has a 0, it just means that there's no value in that place value. Again, having students build it and then expand it really puts the emphasis on the value that the digit has in this number. Now, after we've expanded it, students will read using the vocab cards. So we would read this as 1,000, making sure that we're also talking about the comma. Then we go on to the rest of the number, 500. And since there's no zeros, we don't need to say T or teen with any number. So we're just going to go to the ones place and end our number with saying the digit. You can also practice with having students expand it in various ways, really making sure that they're understanding the place value that each digit has. These cards are great for expanded form because students literally break apart the cards and it reveals the value that the digit has in the place value chart. This also gives exposure to reading both parts, which are also both numbers between 0 and 10,000. Hopefully you found some strategies that you feel might be useful for the students that you work with. It is important to also understand that in second grade, students were already working on this standard, but their goal was to only read and write numbers between 0 to 1,000. So we are just reinforcing place value using this standard, but also now focusing on the thousands place as the new place value. It's also important that when working with numbers that have a 0 in the tens place, we are making sure that students are not using the word and. For instance, we're not saying 1,508 because they're going to use and when they get into higher grade levels and decimals are introduced. Students also need to be able to work backwards and fluidly throughout the forms. So giving students an expanded form and then having them come up with the standard form as well as the word form, or giving students a word form and having them build it into standard form and expanded form is the expectation of this benchmark. If you have any other strategies you would like to share, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, I hope you have a happy time teaching.